Matt, this is the fight that's just been added to this card, and if you're not excited for this one, then you're not a fan of the 135-pound division. Whoop, record scratch. This one's taking place at featherweight. It was originally scheduled to be at bantamweight in August. They moved it ahead. Both guys able to fight here on the second card from Fight Island. We have Jimmie Rivera taking on Cody Stamann. And Matt, for Cody Stamann, we saw it. Was he the next Volkanovski coming into the UFC? Had a great record. They continue to move him up in competition. He lost to Aljamain Sterling, but hey, Aljamain Sterling's right there at the top of this incredible division. He had a tough fight against Song Yadong that could have gone either way. It ended up as a draw. And then in his last fight, he took on Brian Kelleher in an incredibly emotional performance. His brother just passed away. And I just have to say, he looked amazing in that fight.
He did.
And Brian Kelleher was on a pretty good run at the time, too. And we're talking former common opponents. Jimmie Rivera fought him in Bellator. Jimmie Rivera, for what it's worth, you look at him, has a wrestling background, trains with Tiger Schulman, so you know his stand-up's great. His boxing's good. His Muay Thai's great. He can employ a lot of different things to his game. And not that long ago, he was 22-1, if I'm not mistaken. 21-1. Great record, great time. But lately, it hasn't been all roses. I mean, he's 1-3 in his last 4. We're talking Moraes, where he gets knocked out at home in New York. He comes back out, beats John Dodson. Then he fights Aljamain Sterling. Then he fights Petr Yan. It's hard to have good fights against those 3 guys. They're top guys. Petr Yan fighting for the title. Aljamain Sterling's probably going to get the next title shot. And if you look across the way at Marlon Moraes, well, he had his title shot. And he beat Jose Aldo. So for Jimmie Rivera, we know what we're getting. The trouble I have with this one, Cody Stamann was against, your regional talent for a long time. He comes into the UFC and they build him up. Jimmie Rivera's been taking on the best of the best for quite a while. I wonder is this where Jimmie Rivera starts to decline and we see kind of the end of Jimmie Rivera's reign in the top 15? And is this the time that Cody Stamann really starts to vault up the division? That's kind of the thing that I'm grappling with here. What do you make of this one? Because I really do think if we had 100% Jimmie Rivera, he's going to win this fight all day.
I still think he's going to be able to get it done because when you look at how guys have beaten Jimmie Rivera, who's a good example? Carlos Condit, for instance. After GSP beat him, everyone in the world knew all we have to do is take him down. Like there is a singular path to victory. And as long as you're a good wrestler, you can just follow it. Just pick him up, take him down, pick him up, take him down. He's not great at getting back up to his feet. You can hold him there for rounds and you don't have to worry about his striking. The way that Jimmie Rivera is losing isn't just because his opponents have this one thing that they can do to beat him. He doesn't have an Achilles heel. He has good striking, good grappling, good wrestling. He's just kind of a perfect example of what a well-rounded fighter is. He's kind of good at everything. There's no huge holes in his game. He got knocked out really fast against Marlon. You can't hold that against him too much, I don't think. The Dodson fight, and say what you will about Dodson at that point in his career and where he is now, even though he's coming off a good win, it was a good win where he just kind of beat John Dodson at John Dodson's game, just kind of boxing combinations, in and out, use your footwork a lot. And his last 2 fights, Aljamain Sterling was able to outstrike him, but Aljamain Sterling is just so odd everywhere. He does everything very unorthodox. His grappling's unorthodox. He has a weird striker. He was able to out-volume Jimmie Rivera. And against Petr Yan, he was doing well for about 2.5, 3 minutes every round. And then Yan would just decide to put his foot on the gas and just kind of seek and destroy, if you will. So I think you need big power to beat a guy like Jimmie Rivera. I don't think Cody Stamann has that big power. When you look through his record, what does Cody Stamann do? We all kind of know it at this point. He boxes his way into the clinch, takes his opponent down, and he's kind of like what Beaston 25-8 was before he knocked out Johnny Walker. He's sort of in that lay and pray category because he's not going for finishes all that much. He's a very controlling guy. And against a guy like Brian Kelleher in his last performance, I know it was really hard with all the circumstances around the fight. He beat Brian Kelleher. You would assume if Cody Stamann's ever going to get a finish, it would be in that fight there.
Yeah, I mean, the perfect fight for Cody Stamann, and I'm not joking, and I'm not just saying this ironically because of the way that you described him. He doesn't want to keep fighting at 45. He said that after the Kelleher fight. I would love to see Cody Stamann over in Bellator fighting Darrion Caldwell. Give me that fight all day. Who's the better guy that can get in close and take the fight down to the mat? But in this one, it's a really interesting one. And again, Jimmie Rivera, the one real highlight in this one is the fact that if you watch the Petr Yan fight, did Yan start to fade at the end and Rivera started to pick it up a little bit? Or he started to at least have a little bit more success? The knockdowns weren't as big of a deal. So for Jimmie Rivera, been there and done that against top competition. For Cody Stamann, it's been a mixed bag against some of those better guys. And I really do hold Song Yadong in very high regard. So I want to put that out there right now. If you look over at the picks, and they're incredibly limited because, again, a lot of these fights have just been added. 71% of 170 going with Stamann to get the win. If you look over at the odds, they favor Jimmie Rivera by the tune of about a minus 145. He opened it as a minus 135. But again, everything's still fresh here. So the fans on Tapology going with Stamann, the odds makers seeing it for Rivera. What do you think here?
I think Rivera's going to be able to out-scramble him and just do more on the feet. Jimmie Rivera reminds me of what Uriah Faber's skill set was 5 years ago, when Faber wasn't really in his prime, but he was sort of coming out of the sport. I know he fought Dominic Cruz that one last time, and then he fought Jimmie Rivera right after. And that fight, it was kind of apparent because Jimmie Rivera just used all of Faber's techniques against him. He was just a little bit faster. And I do think he still has that really good speed in his combinations that if Cody Stamann can't get the takedown, we haven't really seen Cody Stamann on his feet for long periods of time. And what we have seen, like in the Aljamain Sterling fight, Aljamain kind of lit him up on the feet and then put him in a knee bar. Like there was nothing Stamann had success in that fight. Jimmie Rivera, even though he has lost to higher level competition guys, he's still having success against those guys. And I don't think a pure wrestler is going to be able to do the job against a guy like Jimmie Rivera, who's going to be able to scramble out a lot of those positions.
Yeah, I think this is one of those fights that it's tailor-made. If Cody Stamann wins, wow, okay, yeah, you're a top 10 guy. Let's see how you make out against another one of those tests like a Sterling, the former common opponent. If you're Jimmie Rivera, hey, I'm sticking around, you're kind of like the Ricardo Lamas 2.0 at 135. So I'm going to be taking Jimmie Rivera as well. It might not be one of the more confident picks that I have on this card, but I'm really looking forward to it because, again, is it a changing of the guard? I don't know. We'll find out on Wednesday. You're not going to want to miss the rest of our predictions for the card, including an extended look at Calvin Kattar and Dan Ige. So keep it locked in with Fight Night Picks, Matt. And as we always say, let's get into it.